Guys, Bobby here from Peak Performance Academy, and today's Coach's Corner we're going to speak about 4 ways that sugar affects weight loss. So point number 1 on this one is that sugar is very easy to overeat. So imagine you open, say for instance, a packet of biscuits. It's very easy to overconsume calories like that are very high in sugar, because there's going to be that nice taste, that reward system. You're going to feel good eating it, and it's going to be very easy to take in a lot of calories very quickly, because it's not a food like eating a piece of protein where you eat some meat or fish or something like that. That's going to take a lot more chewing, a lot more digestion. It's going to take a little bit longer. So sugar is one thing that can have a negative effect on fat loss, because it's a very easy thing to overconsume. So think of your sweets, your processed foods. They are very easy to overconsume and take a lot of calories in very quickly. Point number 2 is sugar causes cravings, and that's a huge problem for people. So when it comes to eating sugars, your body adapts to the taste. If you think about a certain type of food, a nice food like a piece of chocolate or something, you can nearly taste it. And the problem there is that when you're eating your calories and you're eating your processed foods, your blood sugars rise really quickly, because you're taking in a lot of sugar, and that drives blood sugars up. And then your blood sugars can drop quite quickly, which is causing the cravings. Okay? And again, if you're highly stressed, cravings can come in as well, and you'll always look in a stressed state for that nice, simplified, nice food, comfort food as such. So sugar does increase your cravings, and you'll see that when you actually consume a lot of processed sugary foods. Point number 3 is sugar affects individuals that have insulin resistance. So the problem there is, if you're consuming a high processed diet, your body is producing an awful lot of insulin. And insulin, think of it as a carrier. It carries carbohydrates to where they need to go. So they're going to go to fat stores, or they're going to go to muscle stores. So the thing about it is, we want predominantly our insulin to take the carbohydrates we take in and shuttle that into muscle stores, and that's going to be aided by training and resistance training, and doing your cardiovascular work and all that. So when you're training, your body is in a better place to do that and shuttle it into places where it's meant to go. The problem is when you overconsume sugary foods, high processed foods, your body's releasing an awful lot of insulin all the time, and your body will store if you haven't been training. And then the problem there is your body is releasing excess insulin. It's floating around the bloodstream, and your body becomes insulin resistant. So taking in high amounts of sugar is going to release an awful lot of insulin into the bloodstream, and your body is going to become insulin resistant, which is a huge problem when you're trying to have fat loss, because your body will not release the fat stores. So that's a huge thing, guys. And also point number 4 on sugar is sugar causes inflammation in the body. So when your body takes in high sugary, high processed foods, it's going to sit in the gut, and it's going to take a lot of digestion to digest that food. It's going to take your system has to go into overdrive to digest that food, because the nutrient density of the food is very little. There's nothing really in it as such. Think of a very highly processed, say, chocolate bar that is high calorie, 300 or 400 or 500 calories. There isn't an awful lot of nutrients there that the body can use. It's just going to take that food in, try to digest it as best as it can, and then you're just going to excrete it out. So the problem there is your gut is going to be inflamed by the increase of sugars coming in all the time. So your body's always going to be in a stress state in terms of your digestion and your digestive system. So you think of your gut is going to be inflamed, so there's going to be stress on the gut, which means the body's going to shut down processes like digestion, and it's going to cause a whole inflammatory response within the gut, and that's not going to help you in your quest for fat loss. So sugar is, in one sense, we have to take in some sugars. We take it in from fruits, we take in a certain type of sugars from certain foods, but the problem is the processed sugars, these sweeteners, these sugars that are put into foods, they are going to have a detrimental effect long term on fat loss. Then we're not saying that they can't be implemented into the diet in some balance, but over time, if you overeat sugar, it's going to negatively affect fat loss for you. And these are the 4 points, guys, to give you a little bit of a guide on what sugar actually does to the system. So it's something that should be minimized out of your diet. If you can be 80% of the time kind of non-processed whole foods, good quality foods, good nutrient dense foods, and maybe 20% of your diet is that nicer food, that little bit of processed food or a little bit of sugar that you like, keep yourself balanced. That is absolutely fine. Once a person has a well-balanced diet and a balanced training plan, you will be absolutely fine. But if you're taking in excess sugar and a lot of processed foods into your diet, you can see now 4 negative effects it's going to have on fat loss for you. Okay guys, if you like what you hear, you find us on peakperformancekillarney.com, all our social media platforms, also on our YouTube channel, Peak Performance Killarney, and on our podcast, Reach Your Peak podcast. Thanks for listening.